Yes, I'm all set. வாழ்க வையகம், வாழ்க வையகம், வாழ்க வளமுடன். Be blessed by the divine bliss of G.A. Samrat. Sky breathing and response to COVID. The world is going through a very tough time. Last year at this time, we were caught napping by the sudden spreading of the coronavirus, which made mankind run for cover sort of blindly. 1 year later, have we conquered it? Well, we are not sure. Everyone says a second wave has already hit us. That too, after starting to vaccinate the people in many countries. US has already fully vaccinated 20% of its population, and 30% more have been given at least one injection. In India, we are fully vaccinated less than 1%, but have given at least one shot to another 6% of the population. Then why is COVID raising its ugly head even in the US? Even some of our Sky members or their family members have been affected for the first time only during the second wave. So I felt the need to discuss about the extended benefit of sky breathing at this point of time, and hence this lecture today. Experts say that the answer lies in what is called the Peltzman effect. Now, what is Peltzman effect? Peltzman effect has been termed after Sam Peltzman, an economist at the University of Chicago, who first described it in 1975. According to the theory, when safety measures are mandated, people's perception of risk decreases, making them take riskier decisions. I will call it the surf excel haina attitude. Surf excel irukkulla. Peltzman postulated about mandating the use of seat belts in automobiles, leading to more accidents initially. It implies that safety perception increases risk appetite. In other terms, people become more careful when they sense greater risk and less careful if they feel more protected, according to his theory. Similarly, in the case of COVID-19, vaccines are giving a sense of security, leading to increased risky behavior, that is, low adherence to preventive measures like mask usage, social distancing, and hand sanitization. While it is a known fact that vaccines neither give immediate protection or full protection against infection as against death, the sense of security unfortunately starts much earlier, even before the actual injection. People wear masks with less caution, do not maintain distance as soon as they reach vaccination centers due to this Peltzman effect. We can see it on TV day in and day out. The increase in the number of people being inoculated gives rise to a misplaced sense of security in herd immunity long before widespread immunity is truly present, said doctors from New York University's Langone Health Center in a comprehensive review of the Peltzman effect. Peltzman effect is pronounced as Peltzman, published in the ACP journals on 2nd March 2021. As a result, the very optimism that is necessary to encourage widespread acceptance of the vaccine will undoubtedly contribute to the overconfidence and lead people to forego the preventive measures, say the experts. Consciously or not, even those who have not received a COVID-19 vaccine may forego masks and social distancing if they know that others are receiving the vaccine, the doctors added. Although pandemic fatigue is also a reason for low adherence to preventive measures, the Peltzman effect cannot be ignored. The theory is also evident in the drastic decline in the usage of PPE kits by healthcare workers. The risk-taking behavior can be dangerous for general public, but for a healthcare worker dealing directly with COVID-19 patients, it can prove detrimental and impair the healthcare services, as is seen in the recent report of 37 doctors in Ram Manohar Lohia Hospital in Delhi testing positive even after taking both the doses. The doctors reportedly got infected while attending to COVID-19 patients at the hospital. It is believed even in the US that many doctors have discarded their PPEs after getting vaccinated the second time without waiting for the mandatory 2 weeks period after the second vaccination. Even then, they should have been careful. So there is still hope, after all, that if we fall back to following the social distancing norms fully and cooperate with the authorities in breaking the chain, then we should be able to get on top of this disease once again. With the advent of the IPL, I am positively certain that the daily case numbers will come down once again as it happened during the last IPL. The number of daily cases was around 93,000 last time at the start of IPL in September, and 25th October it had come down to around 39,000 when the IPL was over. How did this happen? It had the same effect of an extended night curfew since people were coming back home before 7 p.m. to watch the IPL. So there is some hope now also. We know that Swamiji was against competitive sports among adults for a valid reason. However, IPL, in my opinion, is not a competition. It is only a co-opetition, as it is like a celebration rather than a match between the two territories or regions or countries. You enjoy the match and not support any particular side. But more importantly, I came across an interesting scientific study recently about how deep breathing has helped the Chinese to win over the effects of COVID very well, both as a preventive and as a cure. At the University of Arizona Andrew Weil Center for Integrative Medicine, doctors have been researching on which evidence based modalities may support recovery from COVID 19. As COVID 19 research is still in its early stages, they have also examined what modalities have demonstrated improvement in lung function in lung diseases with similar pathologies. While long term consequences of COVID 19 are still being elucidated, the concern about development of pulmonary fibrosis in patients recovering from COVID 19 is rising. Pulmonary fibrosis is a scar tissue that forms in a patient's lungs, reducing flexibility and movement and the ability to oxygenate blood. A regular practicing of breathing intentionally can reverse this tendency through increased lung expansion and strengthened respiratory muscles, both of which contribute to increased ventilation. That is, the lungs' capacity to provide oxygen. Which patients will develop lung fibrosis after COVID 19 and which will recover without fibrosis is unknown at this point. So, practices to aid lung recovery is a smart idea for everyone. Diaphragmatic breathing is a good place to start. In this practice, also called belly breathing, you, you slow and deepen your breathing by fully expanding your abdomen. This breathing is most easily learned lying down or in a sitting position. To give it a try, place one hand on your stomach and the other on your chest. Begin breathing deeply into the belly region so that your hand rises as the belly fills with air. Ideally, the hand on your chest remains still. Now flex your abdominal muscles and exhale slowly at half the speed and fully. Notice that your belly falls back toward the spine while your chest remains relatively still. If you purse your lips as you exhale, this slows the breath even more. This is sometimes called pursed lip breathing. In fact, we have all experienced this while doing the neuromuscular lung exercise. There is evidence to suggest diaphragmatic breathing, pursed lip breathing, and yogic breathing, as we do in our case, are all viable techniques for improving the lung function. All three have been shown to improve breathing capacity in pulmonary fibrosis patients and the ability to walk longer distances in people with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease or COPD. COVID 19 recovery recommendations developed by rehabilitation experts at Loma Linda University in California include these breathing exercises. They suggest people recovering from COVID 19 begin breathing work as soon as they no longer require oxygen or their severe shortness of breath has improved. Finally, it is important to mention the unspoken fear that the experience of the pandemic carries with it. The psychological experience of fear is detrimental to well being. Feelings of fear cause us to breathe faster and feel short of breath and can even prevent our lungs from fully inflating. Therefore, even those of us who are perfectly healthy may benefit from practicing intentional breathing or neuromuscular exercise and yogic breathing exercise as we all navigate life in a pandemic. This is where the Sky system and Sky members come in. We have been teaching pranayam or deep breathing in two ways, through clearance and through Nadisuddhi practice. The Chinese Qi or QI breathing is similar to the clearance practice. The Arizona Institute has also tested a technique called the 478 technique, where the person closes his mouth and inhales quietly through the nose to a mental count of 4. Then holds his breath for a count of 7. Then exhales completely through the mouth, making a whoosh sound to a count of 8. With practice, it lowers heart rate and blood pressure, improves lung function, promotes good sleep, and counteracts anxiety. The 478 breath can be practiced even by someone on oxygen therapy. This breath is effective even for COPD patients with extreme shortness of breath and oxygen dependence and can be learned in a few minutes. Swamiji has not recommended the holding of breath mainly because the air outside in our cities currently is highly polluted with suspended matter particles like metal and carbon particles, sulfur dioxide, etc. And hence, holding the breath will make these kachada settle down in our lungs, damaging them, whereas exhaling immediately will throw out most of this unwanted matter from our lungs. However, in sky breathing also, you are advised to take double the time to exhale as you do to inhale. Canadian researchers recently issued breathing exercises for COVID 19 recovery and suggest they should be practiced 1 to 3 times a day for up to 10 minutes each time. So, we can also look at doing Nadisuddhi and clearance practice for 5 minutes each in the morning, at noon, and at evening, every time, of course, before food. Singing is considered another form of effective breathing work and is recommended by doctors in the UK. In fact, singing for lung health programs are offered across the UK for lung health and have also been shown to improve the mood. So beware, next time when I conduct the meditation, I may try to sing the Divya Stuti myself to boost my immunity. So keep some cotton handy, please. So, what is the takeaway from this session? I suggest that we do the following for the betterment of ourselves, our family members, and the whole country soon. 1. Learn to breathe slower than now as a habit. This will bring more peace to our minds and also improve our lung function generally. 2. Practice Nadisuddhi and clearance, 5 minutes each, 3 times a day. Practice Kapalabhati at least twice a day. This is also an excellent practice to throw out the kachara from our lungs. Remember to keep Mulabandh without fail while doing Kapalabhati. Kapalabhati also clears the breathing passage. Practice neuromuscular lungs expansion exercise twice a day. Before starting to sing, please discuss first with your spouse and other members at home and do not hold me responsible later. You can teach breathing exercise to your family members and also to your neighbors because their immunity enhances your immunity. Get yourself vaccinated as soon as you are eligible and a slot is available. But please remember the Pelsman effect and observe social distancing norms before, during, and after vaccination fully for your sake and for the country's sake. Thank you and வாழ்க வளமுடன். आप जिए समृद्ध. Thank you so much.